last week, October 25th. Mike, another one at the end. What did you show last week, Mike?
The responsive labels.
Responsive.
And the admin theme.
Topics, GraphQL questions from Mike. We GraphQL questions. Today, 11:01. 11:01. So what do we have? Demos? Topics?
I think we need to take time to address the issue on merging. We can't merge. You might want to disable that
We
rule.
could take, well, can we disable it?
I don't know. Can you disable it?
Can anyone disable it? I don't know. Okay, let's see after that. Okay, so that, and I will ping the one later. So I don't want to name anyone. This is not their responsibility, but
We might just need to release 1.5 too. I don't know.
Yeah, we can do that independently from the issue. Let's see. So that and CLA bot. But that, what do we have? Okay, let's see the status. One, so we didn't have triage last week. I was oof. Anything happened on Orchard 1? Nothing. Orchard Core. And that should be a quick status update. We don't have triage, so less things were merged during triage. I didn't check. Out of triage last week. What was the date? 10/25. Okay, this one. Add documentation for YesSQL breaking changes by Jasmin. Okay, update YesSQL using SQL. He's now using the new SQL credentials encrypts. I saw that, and I don't think I reacted on this sentence. Actually, not so new, but newish. Okay. Yeah, Jasmin is here. Okay. Yeah, because it was actually released at the beginning of the year. We just didn't want to update when it was new. It's not new anymore. There is a 5th version. We are using the 4th version. If the SQL Server does not have a trusted certificate, and there is an issue here. I want to continue using a string. Okay, there is some rewording to do here. We'll look at it after. Then I see some errors. We have that one. I removed my filter. This one was fixed. I think we saw that. Screen. Fix the sitemap homepage URL by Jean-Thierry. So this is not the same effect. This keeps the key, this removes the key. I see. That's the fix for 2 issues. This one and the other one, 2 issues related to the home route and the site app path. Okay, job. Thank you, Jean-Thierry and Antoine. Updated the markdown thing. So let's go back on this one. Oh, it's not merged. Okay, so we have an issue with the merge. So just, I don't know if we talked about it during last meeting. On repository, and we look at the pull requests. They are all pending the build because because we have this bot here, which is the CLA bot, license contributor license agreement bot, which ensures that anyone who contributes to Orchard Core has signed a contribution agreement that says everything I contribute for the Orchard project is owned by the .NET Foundation. I didn't steal the code I'm contributing to. Orchard is not responsible, or the .NET Foundation is not responsible if a contribution is illegal. And this bot checks that the committer before the pull request has signed it, at least in the past once. This bot says it's still waiting for something, so waiting for status to be reported. So how do we remove the bot? Let's see if I can change that. Which means if we disable it, well, it's not worse than today because nobody can submit anything, can merge anything. But if we disable it, we should not merge things from someone who hasn't contributed by the past to Orchard Core until the bot is fixed. Where can we see that? Where can we see that?
Wouldn't that be part of the actions? I mean, I would assume.
Or
There's,
Yeah.
I would say GitHub Apps, which is an integration.
This one is from
There's
Mark
one.
one.
all contributors, maybe that one.
No, this is to generate a list of all contributors, a page with all the contributors in the README and their contributions. That one will confirm.
Maybe it's on the organization configuration.
Second, I need to confirm the thing I'm seeing. Oh, and I typed the wrong number. Oh, so stupid. Okay. That's not that big in repositories. Actions, webhooks. Aha. I don't know what to do. Antoine, do you know if you made that thing?
No, I didn't.
GitHub Classroom, but someone did. What is that? So let's see if we can jot. We'll delete it. That's weird. This one. Ask them to configure it, can't disable, so delete the webhook. Now, see what it looks like. Actually, we could just say we can say that this is required. Can we say that this is not required actually? Like branch security, that. Choose. Yeah, okay. It was the trick actually. You need to run the webhook, but that's fine. We don't post anything on the system that doesn't work. So we should be good. Choose.
Ha, now they're working.
Okay, so yeah, so it's unblocked, all checked have passed. And we can merge them. So happy merge. It will be happy merge time now. It's blocked anymore.
For this PR though, take a look because I think it's a duplicate of something that Antoine already did in the 1.5
Okay, so we'll
branch.
yeah. Yeah, main versus 1.5. That's okay if it's duplicate, you close it. Okay, I will look at the ones targeted for 1.5. If we have any, yes, I know that last time we had some. This one, okay, and we asked difference resolution. So nothing changed. I'm not super confused. I want to see it. I will keep it there. Request. So what do we need to merge? Too many checkboxes. This one.
There's two PRs related to, yeah, that's one of them, to the APIs. If you want to look, one of them was approved by John Theory with the GraphicQL.
So there are two things. There is confusion here. This one. And that's this one. These are two different things. This is called GraphQL, and this is called graphical. This is the UI to create GraphQL queries. This is the protocol, the language, GraphQL. And graphical is the UI, the editor. That's why I want to be clear about when I hear GraphQL, do you pronounce that thing GraphQL, which is fine, or do you pronounce that thing GraphQL?
Well, it has to do with permissions, so I'm guessing it's services. So it's a graph.
This one, GraphQL.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
GraphQL. GraphQL, for those who know how to pronounce it, is called, the owners call it graphical.
Yeah, I see that the second PR up there. That's GraphQL.
This one also might be. I will let Antoine update all the things. Enable. Okay. So about that, Hisham. Still need time.
No, maybe tomorrow I finish it.
Okay. So we look at it on Thursday. Oh no, the publish own content permission when using the content API. Publish own content permission within the content API. Okay, looks straightforward. Okay. The code is still here. Now there is that one. There is no content type. The content type doesn't exist. You say write request. Okay, that's it. Then this one. Content item. Set up a new content item. Content item, that's the same thing. Okay. Then, okay. Here, problem. Factor bit. What is that? What is problem?
So what happened is there is a problem. We just show a text of errors, which just still exists, but in addition, now we also have a key, like an error array of with all the errors along with their member names. So if you're validating a form, you know exactly which field is erroring and what error. So it's not a breaking change because it keeps existing stuff the same, but it adds another property.
Where is the other property? I don't see it here.
It's when you pass, see line 131, when you pass the model state to validation problem detail, it automatically adds the errors.
I see, based on this.
Yep.
Model state, okay.
Yep. It takes everything from the model state and it adds it.
Where is this class coming from?
That's ASP.NET.
And this one also?
Yes.
Okay. Where is the security check authorization? That's the new one. Okay. Oh, it's not the new one. It's there. But
it's not, except we just check for a specific
item. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, makes sense.
Yeah. Otherwise, you have to give someone higher access than anticipated. So.
Field handlers, 24th validation.
Yeah, that's kind of follow-up because right now we don't have any kind of validation. If you posted anything to the API, the data isn't validated. And what we really should be validating against the settings, right? Because the fields are setting driven. So adding content field handlers will allow us to validate each field during the validation process, just like we do today with the content parts. or content part handlers. So content field handlers as well.
Not 1.5 because
Yeah, this one can wait.
to
It's
talk
a lot.
absoluting stuff. So risky. It could break. I don't feel.
There's no absolute stuff. It shouldn't break, but you know, it
Yeah.
might need to be reviewed.
Check.
Yeah, this one at least we know John Theory tested it and proved it.
God approved it, so it's interesting. Okay, I'm afraid. Scared to click on changes because I know what I will do and that scares me what I will do. So okay. It's in common permissions, I believe. Then okay, optimizations.
Yeah, line 106 was a bug. It was not true instead of not X.
Yeah, this will always be false. Whatever X is. Okay.
Yep.
Who wrote that? That's in graphical code. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
It matters. We need to point fingers to people so we can fire them from the project. Like, don't do it again.
Point at me. Hisham is here, so we can blame Hisham for whatever reason.
But no, we can't because he's here. Usually we can because he's not here.
But just because he's here, we should just blame him because he never joins.
Honestly, I don't think he touched the graphical code, so it must be, I'd say Carl. Can be me, but site layer, I don't know what it is, so it can't be me. So it must be Carl. It'd be someone, is it Mike? Mike Cry who refactored completely GraphQL with the latest version. Antoine must know, the contributor who did that. I don't remember, but a huge refactoring to be able to use the latest version of GraphQL.net. So we won't blame anyone because in the end it's better, even with bug. Let's keep content type site layers. Okay. What is this should skip content type?
So we have a way to configure options via code to say some content types, I don't want to see them in the Explorer, right?
Okay.
And so with this check, so you notice on line 50, down from where your mouse is, we're adding a field with that exact same type, content type. It's called site cultures. So if we want in the configuration, if we say don't show it, currently we don't respect it. We show it either way.
Okay.
So adding that check, make sure, should we skip it? Is it configured to be skipped or not? And then we skip it.
And I assume there is another call for generic content types, like generic queries.
Well, that's part of a configuration. So that should skip content type, just checks the configuration. If it's marked hidden, then we hide it or we don't show it. Because each content type can be hidden or it can be collapsed, same as fields and same as parts. Yeah, you see how it's looking in the options.
It's time to do a scan for a lookup like this. The option, but we won't change that here, but just when we have something like this that can be called multiple times, then we should build an internal, on this type, an internal structure dictionary for each type. So we can look up the type by dictionary, like in this case, a hash set, because
By
it's
key.
just
Like, I mean,
hello. Yeah, yeah, so maybe just create a hash set in this type that is initialized with all the types which are this list. The type options. It looks like a list, actually. This one, GraphQL filter.
yeah, that's a newest thing. That's the main thing, really.
There was not services to test these already
Nope.
with a dummy content. No.
We do
Nope.
that sometimes
Yeah.
in controllers, but I'm sure we have a service to do that. It's just code that we copy paste every time. We create a new one and we check everything. That's fine because why create a service just to create a dummy? What we might want to do again for perf, based on the usage here, if it's called like for each content item, what we could do is it can be as, yeah, if you could have maybe a static in this case would work. The static because it's based on the type, but a
Probably create an
singleton,
extension of the authorization service, maybe.
a singleton just for state, a singleton which will have a dummy content item for each of the type, so we don't have to create a new one every time because this new can be costly, and we don't, yeah. So we might want to have a cache of these things. Maybe make it a service then, because then the service could cache it and use a service if we want to do it all the time, like checking permission on a dummy object.
Yeah, we can add that. We use that in many places, so that will come in handy. And
if it's the same thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's the same thing in many places, in content especially.
That is different. Or you check the ownership.
Yep. So we only query the content types where you can see them. If you can only view your own stuff, then we're going to only show you what you need to.
At the query level, interesting.
And here we had to add the second permission because one of the issues with view content is that, by default, anonymous role have view content for everything. So literally everyone can see everything here. So here we check for both to make sure you can see content plus you can execute.
Okay. Good. God approved. So
Did we already release the translations?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not gonna merge anything that needs migrations or translations.
That's fine because it's okay. We just take all the translations that are there, we package them. But here you added new translations. They will work not in the translated languages. I see what you mean. You have new strings.
Yeah, we have new strings. I mean, it will just show in the wrong
English,
language.
but people can't localize them. I see. No, they can still localize them, but yeah, no, that's fine because people won't buy new translations until we ship 1.5, so that's okay. And we won't ship new translations after, so that's okay.
Okay.
They will be in English. They won't be translated. People can still translate them with their own local files, but whatever they provide to crowding, they won't be able to. And even if they could, we will not ship a new version of the translation. So
Okay.
Antoine will update the strings. Or isn't it? Well, we just need to run the PO extractor at some point to update crowding. That will even be automated, interestingly. So what is that? Closing. It's a recent one. Open. Okay. Okay. Good. See my key. Cache permission registration. It's like the 10th time we miss some of them. It's crazy. We should have a. What's the other thing I said we should have? Oh, the SHA computing automatically. Yeah, like if we have permissions that are never registered anywhere, we should say, hey, you have a permission here, but it's never registered. Okay. By display. So this is the one I wanted to check. I don't understand. So I want to see the error message. Here, it's cloned. And we are assuming is said.
We just want to add obsolete on the old methods that were added or re-added.
Okay, re-add them. Okay, so re-add them with obsolete.
Yes, so line 10, I think the
Keep it.
suggestion is to add it, to obsolete it.
Yeah, we add it, but we obsolete it. Okay, so I look at the changes. This is I don't care. I care about the interface. The one without HTML prefix.
Correct. Yep.
It's new here. It's new. Oh,
Yep.
it's new is here. Okay, so the one, so without the HTML prefix that you added time. We have that. You added HTML prefix there and there. So the idea is that that. Group ID was not, was it? Did it have a default value?
Yeah. Group ID had the default value.
Okay, so if I say that here,
So obsolete those two.
which I will, for now, I will just try that. Do I make it fast? Fast? Thinking about it, 1515, okay, that, should I fixed? That's 70. So we have a branch, and that also to read with the net7. When does the net7 ship? I think it ships next week because there is the netconf next week. So it should ship next week, probably on Tuesday. I don't think we'll ship 1.5 with net7. We have many things to try, but then we can ship 1.6 with net7. Not bad, but so doesn't implement interface. Okay. What we can say is can provide a default implementation. So how did Niraj do that? Okay, it provided a default implementation. That's good. I wanted to do. Should have been. Did it. Okay. That should be faster now. Oh, something for anyone who wants to look into that. If I go on aka.ms/spnet/benchmarks, these are the continuous benchmarks for ASP.NET. And there is a page in here that is called MVC that has some benchmark for some MVC apps. One of them being one running SQLite and one running PostgreSQL. And I can't think of anything in ASP.NET or .NET that would explain these jumps in memory. There is, however, one thing that was done around these jumps in Orchard itself, So this one is 1013. You see this one here is 1022. So maybe this one, this 1022 here, this jump is related to this perf improvement, and this might be when I switch to .NET 8. Yes, okay, this, okay, so there is, okay, two things here. So we are on Linux, that's interesting, that's very interesting. So this jump here, I can explain. This is when we move from .NET 7 to .NET 8. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but the explanation is moving to .NET 8. So there is nothing for us to do. And when I say .NET 8, it's the current development branch of ASP.NET/runtime, which we target as .NET 8, right? The next version of .NET. And it's going down a little because there a week ago, the runtime team provided a fix for GC regions change that happens in .NET 7. So this jump here, though, I can't explain from the .NET repositories. So it might be something to do with Orchard itself. And at that time, around that time, we merged a change from Jean-Thierry, no, from, sorry, not from Jean-Thierry, from Marco to optimize the memory used by extension manager. So maybe something was missed here. Maybe it was better for some scenario and not better for some other. So maybe it's not related, but I would love to know if someone can try to report that. This one, this is the first request, is also faster, which is very good. Right? So the green line here is the startup time, which means from .NET Run to the application is ready. And the gray part is the first request. During the first request, there is DI initialization, there is configuration happening, there is cache warm-up, and the startup, the first request went from 5 seconds to 4 seconds. So we gained 1 second, which is great on the same commit as this thing. So I would love to understand why is it faster and why it's taking more memory. At the same time, this is a peak memory usage. So maybe the long-term memory usage is going down after, but to be analyzed. That's why we have these charts to detect changes like this and to be sure to understand the reason and maybe to fix the reason or to replicate the issue. And you see it happens whatever the database, so it's just in Orchard or in the runtime. By the way, you can see that red one is, the black one is faster than the red one, so the SQLite one is faster than the PostgreSQL one. This scenario. And on Windows, have the same behavior in terms of memory, the same gain and startup. That's interesting. But still, so far, the .NET Orchard is faster on the .NET 8 than .NET 7. That's something to understand. It's nice. Okay, so I was just mentioning that while it was building here, still failing, the code is ambiguous. Is ambiguous. Why? I don't find it ambiguous.
Because a default parameter, probably.
There is only one here. Oh, because of this one. No, because this code is not ambiguous, not to me. Issue here. Between the following method or properties. 1, 2, 3, string. Editor 1, 2, 3. The 4. So it says that this one, it doesn't know if it should call this one or this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't see ambiguity here. This one has 4 arguments. This one has 5, and I'm going one with 5. 1, 5. Okay.
Oh, by the way,
no. This is that. Yeah. No. This is not this code here that is ambiguous. It's not this code that is ambiguous. It's any other thing calling that. Okay, so how did Mirage fix it? Yes, Jasmine.
.NET 8 is not available for download, so it's something
I know.
internal from Microsoft.
No, yes and no. I know. No, it's not available, but just to mention that we are benchmarking with the current development branches. Okay, which is just because we are shipping .NET 7, but the work on .NET 8 has already started.
Yeah.
And it's already built every day, multiple times per day. This is why we have versions, and anyone can install it. Let me show you.
So it's on GitHub, I guess. You need to.
Well, it's on GitHub, but if you do, you go to the SDK repository. Not there anymore. On the installer repository, there is a table here for all the architectures. So if you take Windows, you see here, this is the latest build of the main branch, which is what targets the next step 8.0. And this is the next service release. This, if you click on the installer, you have an executable to install this SDK with the new 8.0 runtime. So this one must have been built like this morning, and from the main branches of ASP.NET and runtime and everything else. So you can still do that. And that's what the benchmark are doing. The benchmark every day is downloading the latest build that is available, installing it, run Orchard, targeting 6, but targeting 8, actually, it's explicitly targeting 8, and then runs it and shows you the numbers.
This is the project you're working on, I guess, on GitHub.
Yeah.
So basically just take the repository, run it locally, and should do the work, I guess.
So my concern is, so this jump here, you see here, at that point, we were running with 7.0 RTM versions. And at that point, we switched to 8.0. The issue we are seeing is here, which is not yet for 8.0. So if you just take 7.0, you will have, so what would be interesting to try is clone Orchard as of 10.10 and look at the startup time or the memory use. The memory use should be a certain value based on your available memory. Then clone Orchard at 10.17 with, again, .NET 7 or even .NET 6, I'm sure it's just to prove it's an Orchard issue. And then the memory should go there. And then if you see that, okay, now let's clone the commit the day before, and so on. Okay, so if you go to Orchard, you just do, okay, let's pick up a commit from October 11, and you say, check out this hash. And then you look at the memory when it runs. When you have set up the stuff, you look, and same thing here. And then if you see the difference, you decrease the range. You look at this one, you look at this one. And if you see the change happens between these two, it means this commit incurred the memory expense. So that, and then you can say, hey, let's look at this change. Why is the memory so big? Okay, that's how it will help to understand what is the commit that regressed the startup time and that increased the memory usage, to understand the impact of the changes. Again, on the .NET 6, if it's an Orchard issue, you will see the same thing. It's not a .NET 7. Maybe it's a .NET 7 problem, so use .NET 7 if you want. There is also already an RC2 or even latest build from even yesterday on 7 that is available there. Okay.
I will try.
Interesting.
Maybe
So,
later this week. Yeah.
to be interesting to understand. It's not critical, but yeah, that's bad, right? That is typically the .NET 8 changes, because this is when we will look into that as part of the .NET 8 work to see why Orchard went up by that amount when we switched to .NET 8. That's an issue for the .NET 8 to tackle. And that's not something that we see on the other apps. Like if I take an MVC JSON app, the memory is going down from 6 weeks ago's change, but it didn't go up when we went from the .NET 7 to the .NET 8. So that's interesting that only Orchard sees that. And that's good feedback also for the GC team. Can understand what's there are other metrics also that we can look at in this chart that might explain or hint at the change. Like there is less generation to GC. More allocation is just because there are more requests, so more allocation, but the allocation per request might be the same. So no, nothing here seems weird. There is more. You see the GC heap, however, is bigger since we moved to not even the .NET 8. The .NET 8 change was one there. It's bigger. Sometimes this is a max, so the max you can see there is down. So it's not stable, but the max value of the GC heap is bigger since the change that we're looking for. True. That's interesting. Something definitely changed the memory allocations in Orchard around that date. And around that date, there is a change in link usage by Marco that was supposed to improve the speed. That is improving the speed of the test by reducing allocations. So that's something fishy is happening. It will be interesting to understand. And also, by the way, right, so I've seen that on the first page, that some of them, you see, they are going up a lot. So that will be things. We know why. We'll announce it later. The time to look. So that and so what's not working is there is ambiguity now. So how did solve it? Oh, this implementation has to change. Okay, it's implementing. So something has changed also on the previous method then. Oh, you removed the old ones. No. Build editor, let's build editor. These are the changes that Mirage did. It should be the same way that this PI is building correctly. Moving the default on the default implementation. Because the interface doesn't have a default anymore, just for group ID. It is implementing this one. Done. Okay. And then so which one can we make obsolete? The new ones should be made obsolete. No, the old ones should be made obsolete. Issue here. So what did I do? Made a mistake? Why is it building? I said there. Nothing should call this one. They should call the new one. These ones, they are there only for the old deck. So I'm expecting it to fail. Where is obsolete attribute? System. Looks like it's working. So these are the old ones. This thing changed. Well, it should not be changed. I'm not sure we might have some default values here, but we can remove the default values. there is no conflict, because if we had a different value, there will be conflict. That's the issue. Yeah, it's building. So as is, it's building, which means the old one should still work because we have the new ones here which are obsolete. That's a solution. Okay.
There's
Questions?
another PR with approval if you want to have a look. It's around the YesSQL stuff. PR 12683. All the way down. Yep, right there.
I saw the title.
Yeah. John Theory approved it as well.
Thursday. We are over and I have a meeting in 20 minutes.
So when are we officially gonna release 1.5?
When we decide that we can officially do it. Like Thursday, we could do it if we don't like this one. Did you implement the schema?
Yep.
Ah, it's good. Yeah, that's a big change. That's 215, but that's good. Probably it's passing all the tests, right? Yeah, sure, but here we'll see. So new options. These are just new options.
Yep. And you can see those during adding a tenant, or you can add them, or you can potentially add them during setup as well. You can set them through workflow, through API when you create a tenant. So they're all over the place now.
I need to check, yeah, how breaking it is. Maybe it's not breaking at all.
It's not breaking, but yeah, it needs to be looked at maybe.
But by experience, it's, well, we can expect it to be not breaking. It's not breaking until, oh crap,
Until it breaks.
we didn't see that. Sorry, because people are doing crazy stuff and we don't think about everything we do. Okay, we look at it on Thursday. Seems potentially not issue. That thing is.
There is a PR just to clean up some spaces around some stuff. I mean, no one approved it, but I don't know. Is it okay if I merge?
But it will break PRs. It will break other PRs. That's the issue.
What was that?
Clean some spacing.
Spacing around the UI for like content part and some flow.
Yeah, if you get an approval and it's not breaking, that's fine.
All right, Jasmine. I'm gonna go test it so we can approve it.
Okay, I have to go. I don't have too much time
right.
then after my next meeting.
Thanks.
Thanks everyone. See you on Thursday or next week. Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye bye.